Hi everyone, so in this video I want to talk about Scientology and my experiences with it. Because Scientology is a religion at the moment, which I don't quite agree with it being a religion, because it's based on Dianetics, which is a method to kind of overcome your fears from childhood. Because the theory is that these fears you have from childhood, these things that happen to you when you're a child that create like a trauma, are locked into a file in your brain that cannot be accessed via just thought. Okay, it's only accessed when fear comes up, because these things around you remind you of this incident, you see. And what Dianetics is when you go through this therapy where you go back in time and you remember the instances when you were a child, and you go through them again and again in your mind until the fear from this incident kind of just fades away, slowly fades away the more times you go over it, and you actually end up laughing at this incident rather than fearing it, you see. And once that happens, the theory is that this decharges the fear out of your system, and then you can go around, live your life without all these fears coming up anymore. And this does work to a degree, okay, because I did this. When I read the book Dianetics, I found it very, very interesting. So I actually went to a Scientology church last year, and had a few sessions. It was pretty relevantly cheap. It was around about £30 a session for like two hours. And there's somebody sits with you, and they'll actually take you back to your childhood. They'll ask you to remember something that happened when you were a child that was traumatizing. When you remember it, they'll literally take you through the incident again and again and again, telling you to explain everything that happened in that incident, okay? Everything that happened. And when you're doing this, you literally you're reliving the incident in your head over and over again. And when this first starts to happen, you kind of feel all that trauma you felt from the original incident, you see. You feel it, and it's not a very nice sensation, because you don't really want to go there. Okay, some of these things that happen to people is absolutely horrible, and people do everything they can to avoid thinking about that subject. But what they don't realize is that thing that happened to them is stored in their brain, and it keeps getting activated all the time as a fear mechanism, you see. So what they do is take you back over and over again, and you relive the incident. Every time you relive it, you remember a slight bit more of it, okay? This works with some people, with other people it didn't. With me, I kind of got to a point where I remembered parts of the incidences, and other parts I just wouldn't come back. So I had like a vague memory of them, but it still worked, because the more times I went over it again and again, it kind of, the charge of the fear kind of went, and I ended up like laughing many times about these instances which were considered to me like the worst times of my life. And I started literally laughing about them eventually. And then when you start laughing about it, then they know that that's cured, you see. And the fear is kind of gone after that point. Now, did this work? It's strange to say this, but it actually has worked to an extent, okay? Because since I went to those sessions and went through these instances, I've been a lot less fearful, okay? And sometimes when we're walking around in life, these things will come up, and we'll remember it, and we'll have this kind of fear in the center of our stomach. And this kind of went away. Like, it's as if all these bad things that happened to us now didn't even happen. It never comes up again in my mind. So I think it does work to an extent. And I think that everybody should try this at some point, you know, because it actually does work. Okay, I don't say this about many things, especially religions, but Scientology is the religion for this. But you don't even need to join the religion, okay? You just need to read the book Dianetics, and I think it was by somebody called Ron Hubbard, Ian Ron Hubbard, something like that. I can't remember his exact name, but he invented this. And when you read that book, you can actually do this method on yourself as well. You can literally do Dianetics on yourself if you've got a strong enough mind. But they recommend someone else do it for you, because if you do it yourself, some things, if you don't want to remember something, you'll kind of put it off, and you can like kind of miss things that way, you see. But I think everybody should do this at some point, because let's face it, guys, the fear in the world at the moment is ridiculous. Okay, everybody's got these childhood traumas, and it's just in them constantly. I mean, here in the northeast of England, um, there's a lot of people walking around, they won't even dare take the mask off. Okay, they're walking around with a mask on constantly, some people. Now, why is this? This isn't necessarily because of the virus. This is probably because of past fears in their mind, and they want to do what they're being told to do by society or powers that be. And the reason they do all this stuff is because they're scared. Okay, you have to go to the root cause of why everybody does something, and it all relates back to fear of some kind. Now, the way I do this, I like to do like why therapy. Like, if you ask yourself, why are you doing something, it'll always relate back to some kind of fear. Okay, unless you're doing something you love and you just don't care. But that's what everyone should be doing, you see. But everybody's not doing that, and a lot of people don't do what they want to do in life because of fear. So if you ask yourself why you're not doing this, it'll relate to this thing, and then you ask yourself why you're not doing that thing, then it'll relate to another thing. And if you take it all back, it all relates to some kind of traumatic experience you had when you were a child, whatever, at school, at a previous workplace with somebody you didn't like. Okay, and then when you go back to that incident, that's the incident you need to work on the Dianetics with. And then if you go over and over again in your head, look at it from all angles, see it from their point of view, see it from your point of view, see it from an outsider's point of view, go through it again and again, realize why they said what they did to you, realize why you were affected in that way. When you do this over and over again, eventually the charge will go and you'll realize, well, what was I even scared about? Okay, and this is the method of Dianetics. It's a very, very powerful kind of mental health healing technique, which I think everybody should try. So if you guys have tried that, please leave a comment on whether it worked for you or not. But that's just my experience of it, guys. So yeah. So I would advise reading the book Dianetics if you get a chance, and try this for yourself if you've got a lot of fears in life, and this will probably help you guys. So thanks for listening to me in this video. I'm off to walk around my home city of Durham here, because I usually come here on a Saturday to have a coffee and just chill. And yeah, I'll leave you with some nice views of the river as well. So have a nice day, guys. Thanks for listening. See you in the next video.